everyone. Thanks for joining me on these analysis. We're going to be looking at Alibaba stock today, or BABA, Baba stock. So we were riding up this trend line since pretty much the inauguration, and we got a sharp move to the upside. And it looks like we finally broke above this range that we had here. And now this range is acting as a level of support for price, which is a good sign for Alibaba. By the way, I don't buy every single stock that I make a breakdown on, just a heads up. So there are times where I break down a chart that I just think the chart's interesting and I like the way it looks, so I'll break it down. But that does not mean that I'm always purchasing it. So keep that in mind. I will specifically say in the video if I think it's a buy or not. And even then, if I say that, it's still not financial advice, but I will tell you if I think it's a buy or not, and my outlook on it, and whether it's short term or long term. So that's just a heads up. So I don't buy every single stock that I make a video on. Anyways, we've been riding up this trend line. We got the sharp move up. It's acting as a level of support now, which is looking good for price. We did get a sharp pullback on the downside, and we're pulling back up. But prior to that, Alibaba was taking a beating for an extended period of time because of all the issues with China. So it was down total about 82%. So, I mean, that's insane. From that bottom, though, we have pushed up a total of 153 and currently about 130%. So it looks like things are starting to turn around for Alibaba. It's good for anybody who got in through this beatdown. This is when you make the money, when there's blood in the streets. I did not personally buy it. I do not own any Alibaba. The only thing to be wary of is if we do crack underneath 126, I could see price coming back very quickly because we have a clean move here. So if we crack underneath this, there's not much resistance or traffic on the left side. So it could be a very quick move. Just as quick as we saw it go up, we could see it go back down. But on the other side, if we do crack above 147, then the next level of resistance would be somewhere over here. It would be somewhere in this region. That 166 to 171, that would be the next level of resistance right here if we broke above 148. That's what it looks like. So we could continue this move up, which is probably the more likely scenario since there's bullish sentiment around it at the time. Price is looking good. So let's see. I mean, it has had these sharp moves up and pullbacks before, so it wouldn't be anything new to see a sharp move up and then a move back down. So if we were to lose this entire move, that would be a pretty significant move. That would be roughly 40% if we were to lose the entire move and come back to this trend line, because we tapped it and we just took off. And like I said, we were trading in this range, so maybe it was a false breakout and then we break back into the range. But we'll find out with time, of course. On the SMAs, we're above all three. On the weekly, on the daily, we just fell underneath the 20-day. So that's not good. You want to definitely claim that 20-day because that's what keeps trends intact. But we can always reclaim that easily. It only closed underneath by a small percentage. On the Bollinger Bands, we just fell underneath the blue band. So we need to take over that and try getting a bounce and pushing up to the red. But it looks like we're right now on our way down to the green band. But let's see if this horizontal level of support here will hold price up and allow it to move to that red band. On the weekly, we are at the top of the band, which could mean that price is potentially getting exhausted from this extended move up. As you can see, we have that move off of this trend line and horizontal level support. We broke right through the blue and we went straight up to the red. So we'll see how it plays out, of course. The strength is very strong right now. We found a bottom right underneath the midline and we broke above the yellow moving average and we've just taken off ever since. Let's see if price can remain in this territory and push up higher, or if this is kind of like a double top and we're pushing down lower. but we are slightly underneath overbought territory. So we'll see how it plays out. On the daily, we were pushing downward. We're creating lower highs and lower lows. So we're creating some kind of downtrend right now. It's not a good sign. And this moving average is pushing the strength back down. So shows that we're losing a little bit of strength, but that's okay. Now, one thing that I do want to point out is, so I actually see some divergence, which could be somewhat of a warning sign. See how it plays out later on, but we'll come back to this video after the fact. But so you see price, it went up slightly, very slightly, almost even. So we'll say double top or slightly up. But look how bearish this RSI is. That's bearish divergence right there. So price slightly went up just a tiny bit. Look how weak the RSI is. This peak right here lines up with this higher move right here. And this lines up with this lower move right here. So that's definitely a problem. RSI could be a sign of weakness. There could be, now after seeing that, there could be some potentially favored towards the downside, but we'll see how it plays out. We'll definitely come back and see how, if we can call this correctly or not. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but definitely some divergence on the daily RSI to consider. In terms of Fibonacci, we're looking good. We got to bounce off the 236, which is a continuation of the trend. We will see if it continues that trend or if we get a pullback further to the 0.56 to the 618, the golden zone, then make a move back, or we completely lose the entire move. Now, if we take the measured move from this high to the start of this move, which is about right here, you can see that we pulled all the way to the 236, but now that 1618 is acting as a magnet for price. It pushed straight up to it. It keeps trying to break through that level, but it's acting as a strong level of resistance. So we'll see if this 1618 can be broken or if price will lose strength and fall back down. As you can see on the RSI, it's pulling down. Now you have this 1618 acting as resistance. So it could be a couple things along with the 20-day SMA. The 20-day SMA is on top of price as well. So you have a couple things holding price down. It looks bullish right now. Still looks good, a solid bull flag, but it could also be a double top right now. This is definitely an interesting one. It could go both ways. That's all I have for you guys. I'll see you in the next one.